I don't think that. Listen, when the game was being played, I was watching it with my wife, and because I don't think in those terms, obviously, I didn't pay attention to the fact that the three that missed were the black players. It's only when, just before the trophy was handed out, they had a shot of the three of them next to each other on the field, kind of consoling each other. And it's only then I realized, oh, shucks. Oh, shit, is all the black boys miss? And Keane and Maguire, or the white, somebody's going to make a big deal about that. Right. And I turned to Catherine and I said, listen, people are going to look to find the people who make a big deal about that. And they're going to make a big deal about those people. And so said, so done. I am not sure that there is any significant degree of I want to be careful what I'm saying. I don't believe that it is as big a deal as people are making it out to be.
Because obviously you start to see in WhatsApp groups here locally, and there's a girl who I know who lives in the UK. She's from Trinidad, but she lived in the UK a while now, and she posted that somebody's son or some kind of thing was going to, somebody's son was going to school, a black young man, and but then how are you going to be going to school? School and class? But anyhow, right? And he got beaten up because he's black. You see, and the thing is, I don't want to come out as if I'm defending England in general, or I'm saying that those sorts of things don't happen. But I'm a grown enough person to know that people love to make those things into a big deal, and not each and every one of them should be believed. Right.
Listen, let me explain what I'm trying to say, right? We have to learn as a society to stop taking the bait of the media.
Right. Because
the media likes to set the agenda. They have agendas, and not all of them need to be nefarious agendas. When I say nefarious, it doesn't need to be a political or ideological one. Most of the times, it's money, right? They're corporations, they want to make money. And in the media, what makes money? Stories with legs, things that get people emotionally charged up. So there are always going to be people who are going to look for those things and magnify them greater than, they need to be magnified. I don't know if you watched the game. Well, so you say you didn't watch the game. But during the game...
I saw pieces of it. What was I doing? I was busy, and I remember stopping by somebody, and I saw a piece playing, and I went somewhere else, and the next piece was playing. Yeah.
Right. During the game, there was a pitch invader, right? Now, if you were not paying very close attention to the game, you could have missed that completely. If you were one of those people which seems to be the norm now, to watch a football game while online, constantly talking with people in a group or something, you would not have noticed that there was a pitch invader. Because, as you might know, the camera crews are always told not to focus on them. If they could get zero, if they get any time on air, it was by accident. It's because they ran into the frame of a camera that happened to be the shot selected at the time before somebody noticed them. In this case, that didn't happen. So it had to be explained why the game was stopped. Because it's like, what's going on here? And then the commentator had to mention, well, there's a person, and of course, we're not going to show them. The reason why that is, as you would know, is because there's a concerted effort to not encourage people to do that. Because they're trolls. They're generally trolls. They're doing it for, is a bet or something, or they have some slogan that they want to be
or they just want to get popular.
Promoted, or and so you take away the motivation for doing that by not giving them what they're looking for. But when these things happen, a tiny minority of people take the opportunity to be trolls, to make a big deal, and to racially abuse.
Right.
And instead of us doing the same thing, we magnify that.
Right.
We give that wall-to-wall coverage. We are kind of doing it right now. That was a competition. We should be arguing about whether Donnarumma really deserved the player of the tournament. It should be Chiesa, in my opinion, it should be Chiesa. So this is what we should be talking about. But things, why it appeared on Brilliant Idiots? You know why they would be talking about it? Because there's a racism angle.
Right.
And the media pretends they hate racism, but trust me.
They use it.
They love it.
Yeah.
They love it. So even if they had 5 people who did that online, they would find those posts
and now make it a wall-to-wall story. And they'll pretend that they're doing it because they're trying to shine a light on racism, as if we need to know racism exists. If we didn't know about that, we would know racism exists. You know what I mean? So it's not about shining a light. It's not about, bringing it to an end. Because how are you going to bring that to an end? How are you going to stop people from being...
Well, I mean, you know me. I have always said that you can't stop people from being racist, no matter what you do, because that's deep in the heart. And if it's in the heart, it's in the heart.
So what are we... This wasn't, okay, it happened on the field, or it happened... No, this happened on social... So what are we going to do now? We're going to ban social media? We're going to...
Well, Facebook came out and said that they would have been putting an extra effort into screening, I guess, posts and anything that surrounds racism.
And then when they do that, what happens? It changes the minds of the people saying those things.
No, but I also think that the reason Facebook posts that is because Facebook wants to be in the media too.
Well, and I mean, they will be because everybody always looks to blame somebody. So they will blame, when it happens on the field, they blame the football association. You should be doing more to fight this. And now that happens online, they'll turn to somebody, well, you should be doing more to fight this. So everybody's going to, okay, I'm going to play this little stripping song and dance with you and pretend that I'm going to do something. But ultimately, what are we doing here? And even if now, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying racist abuse didn't take place. And I'm not even saying that it's okay. That's not the point I'm making. The point is, how much of a story is it? And are we making it into a story because we love to talk about that kind of thing?
Well, I think one of the reasons I think this had some degree of impact is because, okay, for the last couple of years, when you talk about racism, it was mainly with the US, right? And nobody's really outright and outwardly racist. In most situations, they would say, you know, someone saying, a white police kill a black man.
Oh, you mean they couldn't point at something that was definitively racist?
Right.
Okay.
But because some of these statements that came out, which we don't know, I mean, at the end of the day, it have white people that could put out, or it have black people who put out things like that. And you know,
the funny thing is, a media organization in the UK, Avex, I can't remember it now, but I mean, you could probably put it in the show notes if you want. But they did an analysis, and the vast majority of those posts came from accounts with users based in India, Pakistan, and the UAE. The vast majority, I think, I don't want to misspeak, but it was definitely over 80%, came from users from those places. So when you think about, we are making this into a British racism thing. When at least from the post they analyzed on Twitter or wherever it was, it wasn't even. And a lot of these accounts were you might even be wondering if they're real accounts.
Right,
They might be troll accounts, bot accounts. It's accounts with like 12 followers, 13. But you think the media cares about that? No, they just want to find any example of it so they could make it into, well, let's now all talk nonstop about how and let's amplify something that we ultimately have no control over.